Did you know teachers aren't humans? They're not allowed to show stress or age, have health problems, show fear, waste time, and most of all, fail. They're not even allowed to go to the bathroom. But that's okay, because we're here to talk about how we're all just playing a role. And at 3 o'clock, we get to be us again. 40 years ago, two 8-year-old boys were bored out of their minds in school, and they vowed one day they would do something about it. They did it to honor their friends. They did it to honor their classmates. They did it for the love of learning. I'm Matt, and this is Rob. And 40 years later, we get our turn. But now we're playing teacher.
Recording in progress.
All right. Welcome to Playing Teacher. I am Matt, I believe, and this is Rob Monahan here, Mr. Rob Monahan, and Brug. I just tapped the little button that said it's okay to record because I'm announcing all the little things that I'm doing. And welcome to Playing Teacher.
I don't know why.
I don't know either. I don't know. Just felt like explaining that. So what's up, guys?
I think Barugi. I feel like Barugi has stories for us.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin. I'm so tired. So wait, I'll start with this. Last night I went to a watch party for my. He's a friend of the family, but we call them cousins. He was on Survivor twice, and then he was on He's now on the show Traitors. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but anyway, we did a watch party, so I didn't get home till like 4 o'clock. Oh my God, 12 o'clock, and then I woke up at 4 o'clock, and I'm so tired, so I might not be able to contribute much.
Tell us about the show. Tell us about the show Traitors.
Yeah, I don't know about Traitors. I mean, I'm assuming it's about trading. That's all. I would.
No, like a traitor, like Among Us.
Traitor.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay. I thought like trading, like you're in prison and like two packs of cools for a Snickers bar. Or something.
Wait, Matt.
Anyway, go ahead.
Matt, say Matt, say the word Trader.
Trader.
Now say the word Traitor.
I guess it sounds the same. I mean, for me, it's my accent.
Say it.
I don't say traitor. So it's trader. You're a traitor.
Traitor. Why did we both?
We both thought,
yeah.
I was thinking like somebody maybe on Wall Street or something, I
was thinking
stocks,
like Pawn Stars, like they're trading
right.
stuff.
I think that popped in there also, right? Trading,
Porn?
But
Porn?
no, pawn, not porn.
The number one show of all time on the History Channel.
Oh,
that's when people make deals. Pawn Star, not
pawning.
I think they want you to say that and make that that's the whole thing. Pawn, porn. Yeah. PAWN. Not
right. What did
PORN.
Did Rob get kicked off in the first episode?
Well, I'm not gonna. First episode, I'm not gonna tell you guys because I don't want to spoil anything.
Because why? Because we're gonna watch it. I mean,
no, but you never know. You never know if like people are gonna watch, if whoever listens. I don't want to. Yes, our 500,000 listeners and viewers.
Well, let me tell you something.
You get kicked off if you're the traitor. Is that like they find out who the traitor is?
Yeah, so it's like like the game Clue or Among Us, like exactly. So like you don't know who the killers are, and then you get murdered. Yeah, it's a game show, but like Survivor, Big Brother, all of that. Yeah.
Right.
There was a show called Average Joe.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 1, I'm watching it, and I see a kid I went to high school with. He's on the show. He's one of the Average Joes, right? So I'm like, oh my
I don't know.
God, this is like amazing. My high school, there was only 50 of us in our class. So like we all knew each other pretty well. I'm like, oh my God, that's him. He got kicked off. He was the first person kicked off. First episode, he got kicked out.
I didn't, wasn't that like about the guy who didn't know the show was a show? Like it was like the Truman Show thing? Was that that?
I don't know. I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Tell us more
And then
stories, Briggy. Tell us more.
so then I went to school and my two other counselors were absent and then a lot of the administrators were absent. So I've just been like on the go all day. I'm very tired. Just
It's the
running
best
around and
time to do this educational podcast on
I know.
aging, which actually brings us to our topic because the topic actually is on being really, really tired. No, the topics actually, which is part of aging, is sometimes, being very tired. But the topic is the aging educator, and we can go in a lot of different directions with this. But we're both three of us are about the same age, like either there's not more than 2 years between us, and we basically each have like 1 year between us. So we've been around. We're not young bucks, So we kind of know what it's like as an educator, to go through the day, Monday to Friday, year after year after year, and probably see some changes within ourselves and the system.
What's
Um,
what's the um what's the sweet spot for what do you guys think is the sweet spot for an educator? Like
that's a
how
good
many
that's a
years
good
in?
question.
A
And by,
Well,
sweet spot?
yeah,
Like
by that
how
by that
many?
by that I
is
mean
it
like
your
when
age or is it how long you've been doing it though for the sweet
no, I
spot?
think it's like well,
Because we
mm,
both started later.
It's how long you've been doing it, I
yeah.
think.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Then I would
but
I would
that's my
say
Yeah,
opinion.
how many years in is the sweet
there
spot?
I don't it's hard to say because there are certain years when you look back on them and you're like, oh, that was my best teaching year, or that was my, I had the best moments or accomplished the most this year. Oh, this year sucked. I really liked, for some reason, I really liked year two as a science teacher
But did you think you were the best like science teacher? Like were you the best like
version of myself. It was either two or three. There was a time where I got um, comfortable teaching the subject where I remember I was just like, bonding with the kids and, going around the school and making sure the terrariums were set up. And I was just like so focused on it. And I was young, so I had that kind of energy. But as I think, and I think at that point the job clicked where all right, oh, I understood the management part. And I was also at that time where I was just going to say
Wait,
yes to everything.
how many years did you say?
he
How many
said year
years
Well,
in?
two,
yeah, well, but you got to
No,
understand,
really?
but he had been
you got to realize though, before I was teaching, I had like at least 5 years subbing
yeah.
off and on, and then I also worked. And when I'm counting year two, I'm counting when I got hired in one school and just stayed. But before that, I'm not counting those years where I stayed in the South Bronx for 8 months. Because I wasn't like licensed fully yet. I'm saying when I had my professional, I'm kind of going with all those other things I did. Boys club I worked and all these things, teaching theater here or teaching a class here. I felt like just that was in my pocket just getting there. Worked in a preschool for a while,
All
so I'm
right.
not I'm
So
not even
you
counting that stuff.
had so
There's a
you're
background.
talking about like okay, so then it's not actually year two. You're talking about
Well,
No.
year two
he's
in the school that we started, but in like the school that we all worked in, but like it's not really year two for you then.
no.
Year two
How
when I
many
was doing the job every day, so it's kind of
all right, but like how many years total would you say that would be? With the
well, I would say
pre-K and all of the
I
subbing and blah
got
blah
my
blah.
sub license when I was 24. So this is when, if you take those 6 or 7 years off and on jobs in between things,
Okay.
and
So
then like,
6 or 7 years.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then going like, into the job full time, I'd say, maybe eight.
Bree,
Okay.
I could have just
Okay,
said that from the
so
beginning. Yeah.
no, I think no, no, no.
You got a good point.
I think that's super important though, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not so easy.
it's
Sometimes you have an odd background. You're not sure if that's when you
yeah,
started or when that's when you started.
but
Yeah.
it is. I think all of that counts for sure. I actually have a very specific answer, but before I have that answer, can I just like go into the story? So I think I was like year one and a half, and Rob and I met Rob in the city. I think I was pregnant with my son, and we met another person in the city. And I remember this so specifically. And I was just so excited to finally be in a school and an educator. And I was only there, like I said, for a year and a half. And I remember Rob, how many years were you in at 2008?
At 239 or in general?
Just in general, like in teaching.
I started in 2001, so seven.
So 7 years.
Yeah.
So you were like, oh, you're so excited about being in education. And I'm like, well, I've been waiting for 7 years to be in a school. And you were like, all right, just talk to me again in 7 years. When you reach my point, talk to me again. And then when I hit that like 7 year, 8 year, I was like, oh my God, this is like I was no longer excited, happy, like positive, like giggly. I was like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. So tired. But anyway, I think I hit my sweet spot this year. So I am 18 years in, and I feel like I finally don't need to rely on, like, if I have to have a parent meeting or I have to have like a meeting with another educator, like I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, this is my sweet spot right now. And I don't know if it's because I had to switch schools, but I feel like I'm like so confident in my craft as a
Well,
counselor.
so this is my brings me to my second question. I'll answer about my sweet
Yeah,
spot
you
in a
need
minute.
to answer. Yeah.
Yeah. But while I answer, you two think about this next question, which is there like a is there a second wind? So for example, like whenever that sweet spot, well, you said your sweet spot is now, but you must have felt like, are you saying that you went linearly from the first year up through 18 years, like just improving every year? Or,
Oh,
because I feel like people have a lull at some point, and then maybe if they stay in long enough, they have like a second wind, you know?
that would be definitely me.
That's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, I know there were certain years, and I'm like, oh my God. So I reached like a certain level now, and I just wanted to forget about the year before because that year was like awful. And then like like you got a different room. A lot of things go to it, and I'm like, well, I can see the job a different way right now. So oh, okay, now I could try it this way. And sometimes it's administration changing, sometimes, the deck gets shuffled and those things, a lot of variables go into it. And then you're just all of a sudden, because we were like cluster teachers, it gets shifted, the kids you have, your schedule, whatever it is, all the stars align and you just had the best year. Um, for me, it was like I remember there was one year that was really cool where I had a room, and then I made it like into a theater, like black box, kind of like a studio, you know. And I put curtains up, and I had the little areas in the room, and I think that was probably like one year where I was like, you know, um,
What year was that? Like in
man, so I taught science for like 3.5, and then I did theater the first year. The first year I was doing, I was a push-in. This was I went from having no room, then all of a sudden they gave me the pre-K room, which is like the size of 2 or 3 classrooms. And
Yes.
then they gave me an office with the pre-K room, which was crazy, which got everybody angry because it's like, why again? Why does he get that? So I would just have nothing, and then I would have like all this extra space, and so I was like, all right, I'm going to use it. So I redesigned the room and I made it this thing, and the kids liked it. It was cool. I would have productions in the room and invite parents in. I made I like sort of like built like another theater. So it was fun because I'm a theater guy and I always love acting. And so this was like a way to really, really show them, like a passion of mine, and then found a way to adapt it for the kids and everything. So that was
So,
probably a cool one for me.
but I think this is an important question because it's like you're constantly shifting. So like my
Yeah.
1.5 years in, I was like so positive and happy and thinking like that was my well, not sweet spot, but like a really great spot that I was in education. And
Wait,
then
I
I
think
guess you're right. Then it was like a lull after 7 years. And
yeah,
then,
that's not what I meant by sweet spot. I mean, when were you the best like, okay, how do I say this?
Well, that was for me because I felt confident in like what I was doing. I was giving like
now
my passion to it. No, at that point, and when I had that room that year, because I was really, fine tuning. The room was like where I was, highly effective. Like because I had, and so I felt like if you looked at the room, and the kids really just understood how the room worked, and that was like half the job. And so but part of my work was making sure that room was,
I,
always functional for them as like a studio, and they understood
I,
how it worked. Like this is where there's so many rules in theater, so if you do it a certain way, especially if you're working with kids, so they understood where the audience was. They understood in this little stage I built where stage left and stage right was and all this stuff. And it's just a blank room, but I made them believe like we have all these areas of the room, and it was cool. I'd say that was when I was really like definitely another high where I was on my game.
Yeah. So
did
that,
you
but
Um,
think
that,
also,
but that's
sorry.
you. But Broogie, I'm talking about you.
oh,
So your answer can't be 1.5 years in.
No, it's 18, but I think a lot of it has to do also with like the people that you work with, like who your bosses are, intimidation factors, like that factors in also because you might feel confident, but when you're when you don't feel like you might feel confident in your craft, but if you don't have the support of people who are maybe like higher up, you might not feel like it's your sweet spot. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
oh, it does. It does to me. I don't know if I ever felt fully comfortable around any of the bosses that I've had. And this is not really a knock on them. I don't know. I think I had definitely a lack of confidence on certain times as an educator because I was so outside the box, and I think I was never put in the classroom, and I always relied on things that I did. So I I always felt like there was a little bit like you don't really fully understand what we do here, and you almost sort of think that the administrators, you get a vibe that they even though you're graded well and you get the observations well, I kind of always felt in the back of my head, I'm not fully there. I was almost like pretending to be there, even though I have all the licenses, I have the masters and everything, and I got to a certain level. That's so I don't know if I felt always comfortable in that way. I think it was in the back of my head that they didn't fully think I was the guy to go to for these things. And I wasn't. They didn't like come to my room when, if the mayor visited or somebody came or something was going on. They didn't come to me. They would go to, the people they wanted to show. Maybe they wanted to see certain things, but, I would think that they would stop by or something like that. I never really got that. So I think that, that stayed with me a little bit. And I never fully, even if I really got along with the administrator, I never felt fully like I was the guy, like comfortable that way.
So, Rob, what about you? Because did you ever feel that your sweet spot was dependent on your bosses? I would guess not, right? You're very different than me and Matt. So,
No. But so in the early years, like let's say I started to I started our school in 2003, right? By the third year, like 2005, 2006, I'm like, this is before Sam is born, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm like staying at school every day, like hours after school, preparing for the next day, getting there early, and I'm doing everything perfectly like by the book. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like I've got all my lessons aligned to the standards and this and that, right? And so in my mind, like I look back and I go, I was really like organized and put together. I had all the trays labeled in the thing, everything, you know, lesson number 47 is tray number 32 and 33. I take, you know what I mean? But then like, but then skip ahead a few years, you start to realize like that's not the best version of teaching. That's like the way that they want you to teach, right? That's like the I don't know how to explain this. Like it's like what some
Wait,
people never escape. Like some people stay
Yeah.
in that zone their entire career. They're trying to do it all right by the curriculum. Like
were you trying to please them
no,
higher up, or are you trying
I
to
thought
do
that
the job
was
well?
I thought
That's
that
what you
was
need.
doing the job.
Yeah,
I thought that that's what teaching science was, you know.
right.
And then you start to learn more though. You start to like notice things with kids. You start to understand like things that aren't in the curriculum. You know what I mean? So like these cognitive skills, these like reasoning and logic and critical thinking and problem solving, like these things that are, the curriculum will say that it does these things, but it doesn't, right? So then like it wasn't until I became very good at doing that that I felt like that was my so I don't know when that was though. It was probably God, what was it, 2000, sometime between 2009 and 12 or something like that, But then
2009,
But that
2012.
I'm just talking about in school. Once I left the school system and I was unshackled, things exploded. Like where I am now versus where I was when I'm wearing those shackles in a school. I can't even describe it. It's like a different universe. You know what I mean?
So you're saying your sweet spot would be like 8 years in, 10 years in, and now it's just like
In the
gotten
school,
in a school system.
but
Yeah.
in my career, my sweet
And you're,
spot was like 20 2017. So 15 years in, 16 years in.
yeah. So how do we relate this back to the teachers who are ready to retire?
Well, I think it's perfect. I think it's perfectly aligned because like, okay, you go into the school. You go into any school, right? Any school, doesn't matter where you are. Take the lineup or you go around and you're introduced to the 10 oldest educators in the building, right? So they may be 1 year from retirement, they may be past retirement age and they're just not leaving. They're going to keep going.
Or they retired and came back.
Yeah,
Like they really left.
based on based on all the teachers that you've known that you've worked with, what are the different archetypes? So like if you look at if you go to 20 different schools and in each one you look at the 10 oldest teachers, I think you can separate them into archetypes. I think that you can go in.
Okay.
So one of them is the person who's not leaving and they don't give a shit. They don't care. Like not that they don't care, but they're not going to be told they're not going to be told what to do. They do whatever they want. You know what I mean? Like
Then
they say,
then you got the person's the opposite. They're counting the days. Everybody knows exactly when they're leaving. They're
Yep.
not they're vocal about it.
yeah,
They're saying, I got this many days left and I'm out. I'm telling them that's saying what they're going to be doing the next day they're
Wait,
out.
yeah,
wait.
That's that.
There was a teacher who literally had like 1,134 days on the board. And then every day she would erase the number and write the new number in.
yeah.
You have the miserable teacher who has been there so long and is just going along with it. Is
They
completely done, not leaving, is
but
just
they
going to
want to.
finish out. they want to, but they're just going to finish out because it's too hard, or they're not going to get hired anywhere else, and they're just
Or
going
they
to
can't leave.
stay.
They have to work.
Yeah, I'm saying they're going to stay 8 more years and just tough it out, and and they wouldn't, so and at that point maybe they don't give a shit and they're just going to do what they want, and they know the system backwards and forwards, but they're like just, this is my way and I'm not
You're
changing what I'm doing. There's a lot of those.
you have the teacher who wants to give you the wisdom of having all those years and likes to relay it to all the young little
Take it from
itty-bitty
me. Take it from me.
20-year-old. Take it from me. And she's smoking a cigarette in the break room.
I remember when we used to smoke in the classroom.
With the students. With the students.
We used to smoke in the teacher's lounge.
What? I got 2 different socks. Who cares? Stop looking at my feet.
Wait, so speaking of that, like there were teachers who would like come into school wearing 2 different shoes because they couldn't see in the morning.
I went from dressing very, very nice. I used to wear a tie. I remember Rob, like I would wear the sweater vest and and then Rob taught me how to layer and everything. So I was like put together. And in my later years, I had flip-flops in my drawer, my desk drawer, like if it rained outside, like I brought like a change of clothes because I didn't want to be wet. So like I would like change my clothes and just have short. I teach in basketball shorts then. I didn't care.
Guys,
I would have a button down with a tie and basketball shorts on, socks with flip-flops. I just did not
all right,
care.
so then that is my archetype because honestly, this is what I wore. This is what I wore. Wait, you can't even see it. This is what I wore to school today.
Oh, your fade. We see the top.
What'd you wear on your feet?
Is that football jersey? We can't see.
They're
Oh
Uggs.
no, I can't make those. All right, let's describe for our YouTube audience. Oh, you're wearing sneakers. Okay.
Because you have the black screen behind, but I'm wearing a heated rivalry, which is a show shirt and leggings and sneakers. That's what I wore to school today. Yeah, like that's the one that I fit. Whatever
we
that
have.
is.
I guess I'll call these teachers the turtles. They're like they're gonna go at the slowest pace possible, and everybody has to adapt to them. Even if they're walking in the hallway, if they want to walk a certain tempo, they're gonna walk that way. They're not rushing. They've been there so long. They're gonna go, and they're tough enough to back it up. You know, teachers that just been there so long. You don't want to cross them. You don't want to argue with them. They're just going to do what they want to do and teach the way they want to teach. But they go at their own pace. So I would say like sometimes a turtle pace, the slow pace, but it could be just going at their own pace. Definitely some of that.
Yeah. Any more?
I think there's one archetype where it's a person who has somehow survived year after year, like they've been targeted,
yeah.
I think the majority of the people think like that person should probably retire, but I don't know. They just keep, finding a way
like
to
the
get through
school.
one more year.
Yeah, something can happen to the school, and then like the person would come out behind a rock. Hey, I'm still here. Everybody's gone. I'm still here. All right. Any kids left? Come on. Everybody sit down. We're still teaching. Yeah. No, I know. The world's gone, but yeah, we're still here. Come on. Let's keep learning. Who wants breakfast? One of
Who wants breakfast? Oh, funny.
And there's just like there are some who doesn't matter. Like I'm not saying they're good at it, but it's like there will be a teacher who's been around for so long that like they taught the parents of their students. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like yeah. Like
that was us.
Yeah, I know. It's happened to us.
We were teaching the kids of that we had their parents. Like it was bananas.
I didn't make it that long in the system.
I've had it where my kids came back and they were teachers. and I was their students.
Yes.
I've had powers in my room that I was their teacher.
Yep.
There was an assistant. There was one who was going for her teaching license, and she was doing her internship. She came to my room for some hours. So like yeah, there's been like boy, and then the power was there all year. He was in my room. We would talk about my class or your class, Rob, and stuff. He
And
was
then
around
Rob,
forever.
like you had kids though. I mean, now we're getting into other things, but like I guess it doesn't make sense, so forget it. I'm not
What?
even
No, I mean, I have students who I taught who now have kids who I would be teaching if I was still teaching.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Or who have reached out to you, right?
Oh
On
yeah, 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 for sure.
social media.
Just
Yeah.
recently, yeah,
Yeah.
someone reached out for like a recommendation letter or something.
Yeah.
Um, and then we have the teachers who are close to retirement or over like beyond retirement that still knows how to like get down and hang out with us and go to happy hours and like really never, not that they had arrested development, but like they just like still hung out with us. We were so young and they were so much older than us, but they
Mm,
still, like when we had like our
yeah.
events.
Yeah, they would come.
I can think of I can I can think of.
I can think of a few. Maybe we'll talk about one day, but not right now.
I was actually talking to
Let me
Slagle.
try that stripper pole.
Yeah.
Ah,
Well, that's
come
exactly what
here.
I'm thinking of. There's one person in particular I'm thinking of, and it's related to what you just said, Matt. And I was just talking to Slagle today about that person being a guest on the podcast.
Oh, I think this person who came to my play that I told you about. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
probably. Yeah, because I actually spoke to someone recently also that I told you guys about, and we were talking about that too, about how that she would probably be a good guest on the podcast
Yeah,
on
Oh
the
yeah.
podcast
it's a person I gave
for sure.
a lap dance to on the on the bus.
That's right.
See, you're gonna say it. I wasn't gonna say
Yeah,
I already said stripper pole, so
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Matt teed it up for me.
Yeah, we should. I also had like recently teachers reaching out that listened to the podcast and they were hysterical laughing. They're like, "Oh my God, like I can't believe you guys are talking about this. It sounds like so much fun to like just like it sounds would be fun to be on the podcast."
So
I
here,
like
So
that.
we
I
have
feel like
like
it's
a
like
lot of people that might want to come on.
there's like new listeners, people we knew, and then they're just finding it now after 22 episodes. So it's
Yeah.
like it has like a cult, it's starting to get like a cult following now of these people. Like it's underground. Look, did you hear
I
this from
told
them?
I told them you can come on, but you have to bring a topic.
so here's a question. um, is there? Do you think for each person, or just in general, that there's a year after which a person? How do I say this? Like you kind of fall into a groove, like a record. It has like the needle stays within the groove, and you just do the same thing. You have your year planned out so perfectly because you've been doing it for over a decade. Do you think there's a point where a person just says, "Okay, I've got it now. Like I've got this all laid out. I just have to show up the next year and do my lessons. I have like 180 lessons basically laid out, and
Well,
where they don't change anything anymore.
from talking to
No.
teachers, I don't think they have a choice in some of the things that how it is laid out.
Yeah.
Like and then they have the year put, like almost in a computer I mean the later years anyway, and it was just you follow along. And with what you're supposed to do. Unless the curriculum changes, then you have to. But I think for
Yeah.
certain is and by time it's going to change. Us, we're a different category because, we um, mine was always, teaching a subject, never like that. So it was always like I had to put There wasn't even a year. If I followed anything for a year, and not talking science, but I'm talking um, the subjects that they gave me. Um, they when they gave me art and music together and said teach it together, it's not. There's no curriculum that shows you how to do that, at all. So I would have to
Right.
just come up with that stuff all the time, which is kind of exhausting to come up with something and then know that they're looking at it and it has to be, kids have to, it has to work, for management
Yeah.
and,
Like,
learning and stuff. So you're building
like,
your own, I was always building my own curriculum. So it always changed through the years. I usually met the classes and then built it around what I had that year. Like what's going to work for them. And then I
well,
sort of
just
then,
thinking about a teacher who is about to retire and they have like a built up lesson bank, right? And
yeah.
they want to, but then all of a sudden they have to hit certain, I don't know, markers, like whatever those were, like Danielson, what are those called? I forget. I don't even know, on the matrix. And they have to, or a new curriculum is rolled out, and now they have to do, I don't know, they were doing Spire reading, and now they have to do something else. And I don't know. So, yes, but then they have to plug in the new stuff that they're learning.
I was watching this thing with a bunch of comedians. It was Louis C.K., Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, and they were talking about like their act. Do they change it every year?
Yeah.
And they all had different styles. Like Chris Rock like to throw away the whole act after 1 year, and hopefully it's like ready for HBO or something like that. And Louis C.K. would like shave, like I think like he had a thing where he would start with his best. He would cut out his finisher and then put it at the beginning of his act just to make himself work harder as a comedian to come up with something on the spot, to come up with a great closing. And so all these different comedians had different styles. They would like shave 20% of their act off every year and then add new stuff, or drop a certain amount. And it kind of reminded me of us, like teachers, how
Yeah.
much of what you learning do you let go, at a certain point? How much is it added in? And I guess it's a combination depending on the teacher. Um, I kept favorites, favorite things that I knew worked. And I think, whatever subject I taught, it was always like, oh, this is going to hit, and you kept like sort of like a drawer full of like good ones, or even like good openers or special things that I know, a good opener, a hook, as we say as teachers, and Rob's
I
big on the hook as well.
I think
That
that
can be 15
you
minutes of your class, you
I
could
think
build
that
from a
what
hook.
you just I think that what you just said about like just relating it to what you saw on TV was really um oh my goodness, guys. I'm
No, no,
having a
no, no.
brain fart.
I'm gonna help
But
you.
I
I
think it
got
was
a good connection. Yeah, I got what you're saying.
yeah, thank you. I can't even speak, guys. This is
You
bad
had a long
news.
day. I know. You're
I'm
not,
so tired.
you're in your sneakers still. You didn't take them
My
off.
sweatshirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a really great connection because it's true, right? These comedians have been doing this for years and years and years, and then they have to change their material, same as like people trying, going through education, almost retiring. They can't do the same things that they've been doing 30 years ago.
There's a lot of
So yeah.
similarities too. We're up there. We gotta, I always felt sort of like as an almost like an act
An
because
entertainer.
yeah, because well, for me, it was like, you see a new class, you might not see them for a week, but sometimes if there's a holiday or something, you don't see them for 2 or 3 weeks sometimes, or vacation. The summer you don't see them for a while, but like if just during the year, I might not see a group for 3 weeks. It's like they didn't check out your show for a while, so they got to see what's the new stuff going on. So it has to be fresh. You have to have some ways to, that's going to keep them, some cool tricks up your sleeve to keep them interested.
Right.
And that was always a big part, especially in the later years. Oh, and that's a good point of like what we're talking about. Like, so for somebody like me who taught that way, it was hard because when you saw the kids year after year, it was a lot of pressure to keep the act fresh, you know? And
Yeah.
like a lot of times, oh, they've seen this already, or they know this, or they're tired of your
Oh,
jokes. And
Maddie, I totally relate to that. That's the same with me as a counselor. Like I
yeah,
have to like every year I'm seeing the same students over and over again. I can't do the same act.
Yeah.
So it's constantly changing. So
Well,
I guess, Rob, that my answer to your question is no. It's like a no. I'm constantly changing.
I see
Go ahead,
Herbie. I see
Herbie.
Herbie out. That's why I'm waiting.
because it would be Herbie, and then it would just be Herbie for a year or two, and then Spider Monkey was added in. You know, hey, Herbie was
Wait, you
there.
have a snake also, right?
No, there's a dinosaur named Igor. I'm a dinosaur,
Yeah,
Briggy.
yeah, yeah. It's like a snake. It's a T-Rex. I mean,
Yeah,
that's like
and
a snake,
then
right?
I bring out Mozart, and then Mozart would speak. Hello, I'm a very
That's
talented musician.
Beethoven.
It says Mozart. See, it's Mozart.
I like how Broogie thinks that she knows the difference between Beethoven and Mozart.
Yeah, no, she definitely does not.
When it's a statue. It's not like it's a picture.
It's a bust.
It's a it's a bust. It's like a marble statue. That's not Beethoven. That's Mozart. You know, like all right. If you
Kids would get mad at you for that. But my point was that I would have to add characters to my act because I would rely on these characters in the class, especially teaching theater. So I would add on through the years. But I always kept the two, Igor and Herbie, for like 10, 15 years. Or the kids graduated, the first thing they would say to me years later, I'd run into them and be like, how's Igor? Because it was so many years later, they remembered that. Like you're the guy that walked around with the dinosaur or the chicken.
you,
But I would add different characters to the group, and then they would, through just to freshen up the act and keep it, and so it's not the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
you go into a school and you find the three oldest teachers, right?
Yeah.
There's a pretty good probability that at least one of them is near retirement age, right? I feel like at
Mhm.
any given time in any given school, there's unless it's a new school or something, but there's probably a few teachers who are near retirement age,
Right.
Mhm.
When those three people get into the car to go home, what are they listening to?
Wu-Tang Clan.
That would be you when Broogie's 75 years old and she's like just getting her last year of working in the school and she's getting
I'm,
Yes.
I, I'm thinking they're not listening to anything. They're just closing the door. As soon as the door closes, I can't fucking believe I'm doing this still. Like something like that. They just fucking curse everybody out and just go to town on the day and,
Yeah.
no,
complain and
no one
this and
does that,
that and
right?
vent.
Cold turkey. No one goes cold turkey in the car all the way home, do they?
I did today.
What?
No music.
Well, actually that's a lie.
That's a
I'm
lie.
sorry. No,
You
I didn't listen to
frickin'
music.
liar.
I called my friend.
Yeah.
I called my friend and yeah. So I was on the phone with her for like 20 minutes and then that was
Well,
it. And then I
you
sat in
said three
silence.
of them, so I'm thinking that the three of them are just like bouncing all this frustration off each other. Like, yeah, she did that. Yeah. Then you got
No,
to
no,
get a
no. They're not
person.
together. They're in
Oh,
their
I thought they were together.
no,
I
they're
thought they
in
were
their
going in
own
a car together.
cars.
Oh, okay. I thought they were
Get in the
traveling
car
together. Okay.
and they're driving home. What's on
But
the
listen,
yeah. Is it
listen, I can tell you,
Yeah.
it's not, they're too old for podcasts or audiobooks.
Well, that's
So
a sweeping
they're probably
statement. Wow.
listening. That's a huge generalization. So they're
No,
probably
we're
listening to
on a
like
podcast
Z100.
trying to get all people of all different ages to listen. And Brugge just said, you're not going to listen to us if you're at a certain age. All right. Just wiped out half our audience. Thank
Yeah, you know what's
you.
funny? Like when I'm asking the question, and in my mind, I think there's no way that anyone can know this. Like, they maybe some are doing a podcast, some are doing an audiobook, some are talking on the phone, some are listening to the radio, some are listening to like a playlist that they've made. But what I really wanted to see was like, what is Broogie gonna say? And then she didn't disappoint. She's like, well, they're old, so they're not doing a podcast. Oh, yeah. She said, well, they're certainly not doing anything cool. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. So that was like hook, line, and sinker right there. We thank you for not disappointing.
Why is you made me turn this stupid setting on my computer.
I made you.
You made me.
You
And
saw
now
you,
this
Matt.
stupid camera keeps zooming in and out of my fucking face.
Maybe
you,
Rob, are you doing that to her?
no.
I'm
There's a setting on Zoom where you can say like auto adjust the frame, and
Yeah.
the camera will like, depending on where you are, it'll zoom in or out. And she was like, "Oh, that's so cool! You have one of those cameras. How do you do that?" I was like, "Well, it's right here in the settings." She's like, "Yeah, here it is, new." And she wanted to do it. Now she did it, and she's like, "What did you make me do? This is so stupid."
Your fault, you asshole.
Why did you make me do this?
Oh, guys, we're like an hour in.
Broogie,
Yeah.
can you eat wheat?
Good segue. It's a good segue.
No, I shouldn't. I try to eat that bread carbonate, which is
Yeah.
good, or gluten-free bread. I try to limit my wheat.
Can you eat rye?
And
Rye bread?
is that wheat? Is that wheat?
No.
Is that like gluten?
No, there are okay. Gluten and gliadin are two different proteins in wheat, right? Two.
Okay.
There's like 600 different proteins in there. So, or like, protein molecules. So you could be intolerant to like any one of them,
Oh,
But
Yes.
but it's specifically in wheat. So like I'm curious if you can eat rye bread or drink beer. Like, can you have barley?
no, I sneeze when I drink like beer. I'll have like an allergy. It's
He's very smart, this guy. This very smart man. You should listen to him.
I
Are you laughing at me?
Yeah,
Are you laughing at
I
me?
sneeze when I drink beer. Yes, I am laughing at you.
I wish you were in person because I would fucking throw this right in your face.
Can you?
Somehow I would get hit with it.
I'm like, I'm
And
trying
that
to.
would be between us trying to dodge it.
This is great, guys.
Matt would be like, "Oh, great, they're fighting again."
I've never heard someone say they sneeze when they drink beer.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What?
Why?
What's going
Why?
on with this?
No, we lost. Can we hear you, Brooke?
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
I don't
yeah.
know.
All right.
Here.
Well, on that note about sneezing beer, I think we will come to an end. And thanks for tuning in to all Broogie's eccentric behaviors. And it's been an absolute pleasure talking about the aging teacher and everything we go to. Tune in to episode 23 when we will talk
Can I
about
say something?
what happens when Broogie has
One
vodka.
other thing.
Yes.
One other thing. Some aging teachers are fucking dicks.
Oh yeah, wasn't there a teacher close to retirement that convinced you and others not to sign up for the
The 25-55.
25-55 is where you have 25 years of service or you reach the age of 55 and you can retire with full benefits. Is that what that is?
Yes, but when you're younger, you have to pay more money into the system.
Yeah.
So instead of working for 30 years and paying a certain amount, you're working for 25 years and paying a little bit more each into it each paycheck.
And then you can retire at 55.
Yes.
Which would be in like 6 years now.
Yeah, it would be like 6 years for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey guys,
now
I don't want to cut you
now
off.
you'll be working for another 15.
I'm gonna have to exit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I gotta exit the show.
Matt's gotta go.
But yeah, Matt's gotta go. But you guys could keep talking.
Take us out of here. Take us out of here.
No, we're out. Wrap it up.
55, 62, all the numbers of the aging educator. Orally. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up.
Maddie, wrap this shit up.
All right.
Put a big bow on it.
Thank you for tuning in to Playing Teacher, and we hope you had a good time. I'm Matthew Cade. This is Mr. Rob Monahan, and this is Broog. We will catch you when we catch you, and we'll see you at episode 23. This was episode 22. Have a great night, everybody.